Hey guys, look who's back again for another one of his Blu-ray collection overview videos. Well, this one's going to be a bit of a long one, but it's a goodie. Let's start it off. Let's just get started. Ice Age on Blu-ray. As much as I don't hate the whole Ice Age saga, this is the one I liked. This is the one that I feel like is like maybe 6 or a 7 out of 10, and the rest are just not as good, not really memorable, not a requirement to have in your collection, in my opinion. At least not a requirement for my collection. But yeah, I thought that the first movie here was pretty damn good, and I really, really like this movie. I remember the first time I got an HD TV, and I didn't know anything about HD TVs and HDMI or anything like that. I was one of those idiots under the impression that if I put my DVD in there and play it, that it'll look like it's in HD, and it'll be in HD, and it'll be perfect. I think at the time that I thought that it would like automatically go to 1080i. I knew enough to know about that, I'm pretty sure, but I did not know that you needed an HDMI cord in order to make that happen. So here I was plugging in everything through, like, 480p technology, and I put in my Ice Age DVD that I had at the time, and it looked like crap, because, as we all know, 480 stuff on an HD TV just looks like crap. And I was just like, what the hell happened? What's going on here? Why isn't it working? And that's, of course, when I discovered the whole thing with HDMI and Blu-ray. And so when you really think about it, this was one of the movies that, like, set me on my journey. Like, this is the one that I was like, I want to see what this looks like in HD. So, yeah. There's a reason it's in my collection. And it does look pretty damn good on Blu-ray in HD. Next up, Idle Hands. I hesitate to use the term guilty pleasure, but as I mentioned in a previous video, I really like Devon Sawa movies. And even though this one's silly and not even like really technically good, it's still one that I enjoy and I laugh at and I find, enjoyable, with its references to Evil Dead 2 and other horror movies, and just how ridiculous some of the characters. Vivica A. Fox in this is playing a much different role than she does in a lot of her movies, so it's just really cool to see her kind of let loose in this movie. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a funny movie. I think it's fun to watch during the Halloween season, although it is definitely a teen movie, teen-oriented. So, at this stage in my life, a lot of it has become grown-worthy. But, hey, grown, not grown. In between groans, you're going to have some laughs. And, well, at least there's that, right? Next up, I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I got to review for Mill Creek. You can find the review on geeky.com as usual. I'm not a huge fan of this, but I do remember watching the first and second in theaters when I was of the age, because around the time that these came out, I was a teenager, or was becoming a teenager at least. And I thought they were pretty cool horror movies back then. Do they stand the test of time? Not really, but they're still sort of fun to watch for a few aspects here and there. But for the most part, it's kind of forgettable, but the Mill Creek release looks pretty good on Blu-ray. The only problem, of course, being that there are no special features on it, but it's a bare bones release. But yeah, if you can find it in like the $5 to $10 bin, not a bad deal. If you like the movie. Next up, In Bruges. I haven't watched this in so long that I've forgotten a lot of the aspects of it, and I've been told it's actually a Christmas movie, and I'm just like, wait, I don't remember this being a Christmas movie. But I do remember it being, at least in a few points, outrageously hilarious for all the wrong reasons, and the characters just being brilliant, and the story being fun, and it's a good movie. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. There are just a lot of quotable, memorable scenes in this movie. I think I got that at Fry's for like $4 too. Hey, digital copy. I don't think I ever used this digital copy. Maybe I will... Wait, is it a disc based? I think it is not a disc based. Ooh! We're doing a giveaway of some of our... Brandon and I are doing a giveaway of some of our digital copies for a Saturday Night Insanity event. But yeah, anyway, next up. Inception. How can you not have Inception? It has become kind of a modern classic, as it were. Mind-bending movie. Really great movie. A lot of people think that Christopher Nolan is overhyped, overrated director, and maybe to a certain extent he is overrated, but I would say he's overrated in the same way that Steven Spielberg is overrated, which is to say that yes, people tend to talk about Steven Spielberg and they tend to look at Steven Spielberg as being somebody who makes great movies all the time and who is infallible and makes some of the best movies in Hollywood. And while that is true, he also makes a few that aren't necessarily that good. He makes good stuff, and then he makes stuff that every now and then that's not quite as good. But he's just a solid director, right? So that's how I feel about Christopher Nolan. He's a solid director. Is he the next great thing in Hollywood? Is he the best director in the fucking universe? Absolutely not. But he makes good movies, fun movies, enjoyable movies, and I feel like Inception is solidly in that area. And, yeah. And he makes movies that, like Steven Spielberg wouldn't make. Because, Steven Spielberg is Steven Spielberg. Christopher Nolan is Christopher Nolan. So there is his own... He's let's just be honest, he's an auteur. Whether you want to believe it or not, he is absolutely an auteur. An auteur is a director that has their own flair, their own style of making a movie. That Spielberg is an auteur. A lot of people are auteurs. But it's basically just a way of saying a director that when they make movies, they tend to have some similar aspects to them throughout. They have a particular style or flair that you can, when you watch one of their movies, you know that they did that movie, you know that they directed that movie simply by watching it. You don't even have to see the directed by thing. You just know that it's them because of the style that they do their movie in. And there is... When you watch Spielberg movies, you can sense that. When you watch Christopher Nolan movies, you can sense that easily. So that's why I call him an auteur. And I think this is one of his better movies, honestly. I really like it. I mean, it's been introduced into meme culture quite a bit recently, but I still think it's fun to watch. I haven't watched it, actually, to my recollection, since buying it on Blu-ray. I don't think I even popped this Blu-ray in yet, and that was years ago that I got it. So anyway, moving on, we have the Indiana Jones Complete Adventures. That's right, I got the complete set instead of going for the different editions. So this one has bonus features that the other editions I don't believe have, but one thing that people usually don't like is that it also has Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't mind Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I think it's a pretty dang good movie. It's not the best Indiana Jones movie out there, but it's a pretty good one. Pretty fun. And hey, you can't go wrong with Indiana Jones. So, yeah, I don't even need to say anything about Indiana Jones, because you know. If there's anybody out there that doesn't like Indiana Jones, then what the hell is wrong with you? Next up we have Inglorious Bastards. Quentin Tarantino movie that I really liked and thought was hilarious, and it had some amazing scenes with Christoph Waltz. And Christoph Waltz, this movie put him on the map, and he has since become like a really big Hollywood star, essentially. And he deserves it, because he's an amazing actor, as he proved in this movie. And yeah, it's a spaghetti western set in Nazi-occupied France. I'm not kidding with that. That's what this is. It's great. It's great. Next up, we have Inside Llewyn Davis. Have not seen it yet. Picked it up during a 3 for $20 sale for essentially like $6.66 or something like that. For the evil price of $6.66. I picked it up solely on the recommendation of a friend of mine, Jeff. Mr. Messermeister. That's what we call him, at least. And he said that it was one of the best movies he'd ever seen, and he couldn't stop, praising this movie. So when I saw how much he was praising it, I was like, well, I have to see this. And when I saw it for $6.66, I'm like, well, okay, first of all, it's something that my friend Jeff recommended, and he knows a lot about movies. He has a good taste in movies, and it's a Coen Brothers movie. So, for $6, Coen Brothers, you can't go wrong. Oh, it doesn't end up being as good as you thought it would? It's a Coen Brothers movie. It's probably going to be pretty damn good. Next up, we got Insidious, which I picked up from Go Hastings for less than $5. But I watched this and the second movie with Skinslip this year for as part of our Project Flicks, where we watched 365 movies this year. And yes, we completed it. We watched 365 movies. That the rules were either one of us had to have not seen it, or it had to have been so long since we saw the movie that we didn't remember anything about it, or at least very little about it. So, yeah. I had already seen this movie, but Brandon had not. But after watching it in conjunction with the second movie, I realized this is actually a series of horror movies that I'm really enjoying. I can't wait to see what comes next. So I figured, well, might as well show my support and put it in my collection. So there you go. Insidious, the first movie on Blu-ray. And then I also picked up for Black Friday this year Insidious Chapter 2. So this was $5. I was able to get this for $5. Very good price. Actually, really good movie. I like how it ties in directly to the first movie, which you don't always see in horror movies or in any sequel for that matter. Especially not the level of tie-in that you get here. There was also a lot of references to like other horror movies and just little nuances that you could catch here and there if you were looking closely enough. And I love that kind of thing in a movie. I know it's basically like find the hidden object. In some scenes in this movie, it's like find the hidden object in a highlights magazine. But at the same time as it's as shallow and pedantic as that, you have to imagine that you're basically looking at the most twisted and demented highlights magazine you've ever seen in your life. And it's a really good movie. I liked it. I don't know why people didn't like it as much as I did, but it is what it is. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I do not have the original yet, although I did see it for like $8 or $9 earlier this year. But I have seen the movie. I have seen the original version. This is the 1978, 1977, 1978 version, starring, among other people, our Lord and Savior Jeff Goldblum. And yeah, it's just a really great horror movie I'd never seen until a few years ago, and then I saw it and I loved it. I found the Blu-ray for less than $10, and I was like, well, that's a pretty damn good price. Might as well. And it is a really good Blu-ray. Like, the transfer is really nice. So, definitely worth picking up. This, oh, another one of my first Blu-rays. And it's a cherished one as well, because you still can't find this for a good price. So when I got this during one of my first Black Friday on Amazon years, which was like, I believe it was 2008 Black Friday Amazon, Iron Man, the first movie on Blu-ray. This is the original Blu-ray release for Iron Man, and it was $15 on Black Friday on Amazon in 2008, which even today, if you can get this for $15, it's a steal, because this has content in it that you can't find on other versions of Iron Man, and it's just the superior version. You see, I've got nice embossed blah 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 slip cover, and then underneath you've got this. So basically, if you imagine slip cover and then you take it off, and there's Tony Stark, and we've got Iron Man there. BD Live User Guide. That's how old this thing is. So it's got Disc 1, feature film and special features, and then Disc 2, just special features. Bunch of cool special features on this with Hall of Armor, BD Live, Invincible Iron Man, deleting the extended scenes, I Am Iron Man 7-part making of documentary, Wire to the visual effects of Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. screen test, the actor's process, still galleries, and more. So this is a really nice edition to have if you can find it. If you don't already have it, I recommend picking it up. And if you find it and it's like $20, I mean, I'd still maybe pick it up, because you're probably not going to find a better price. Anyway, had Iron Man, so I had to pick up the second one for $4, 2013 Black Friday. Iron Man 2, $4, not a bad price for this one. It's just the basic edition, but I wasn't as much of a fan of the second one as I was of the first one, so I'm not exactly beaten up over beating myself up over not getting the better edition when it only cost me $4. Next up is a really cool one with another little story to it. Iron Sky Director's Cut. The story behind this is that Brandon, my friend Brandon, and my friend Matt and we all got together and did a movie commentary for this. We just randomly decided we were going to do a commentary for this movie, even though it was just completely not planned. We just off the cuff said, let's just do a little commentary, watch this for the first time and comment on it as we're watching it. It ended up being more of a laugh track because of how hilarious this is, but because Brandon, I believe, was live tweeting it. When he live tweeted it, the actual director of the movie saw the live tweet, and by the time we had finished watching the movie, the director of the movie himself had been watching our live stream on YouTube of us watching the movie, and he actually came in at that last second, like as the movie was ending and the credits were rolling, and answered a few questions and talked to us for a little bit about the movie, and that was freaking awesome. I mean, it was really awesome. And afterwards, after the stream ended, he offered to send us some copies of the director's cut of Iron Sky in the Steelbook Blu-ray format, and that's how we got this. I got one. My friend Brandon got one. I believe Matt got one. And I think Sean got one, but I don't remember. But anyways, really funny movie, hilarious movie, way over the top. This one jumps the shark about 20 different times, and then they're making a new one that's currently on. I think it's still on either Indiegogo or one of those crowdfunding sites. They're trying to fund the movie through those means, and they're close to doing it from what I last saw. And that one just goes over the top. I mean, he described to us after the movie when we watched it that he had a second movie planned, and that the second movie involved, I believe he said, dinosaurs at the center of the earth. And, you know, Nazis and all that good stuff. Nazis riding dinosaurs at the center of the earth. So, if that doesn't make you want to watch this and doesn't, you know, tell you what you can come to expect from this movie, then I don't know what will. It's definitely not something to be taken seriously. It is over-the-top ridiculousness, hilariousness, brilliant. Like, if you like Sharknado, this is like an actually well-done movie, but in the same vein of ridiculousness, essentially, where that doesn't make any goddamn sense, that's impossible. And that's the point. That is entirely the point. So yes, you got Iron Sky here. The steelbook looks really nice. And I'm very thankful for being given it. And comes with a nice little booklet here on the inside. And then on the inside, they've also got some nice artwork for the steelbook. So if you come across this, you should definitely pick up the steelbook. Support these guys. They're essentially independent filmmakers. And I believe this was, in a way of speaking, in a manner of speaking, it was independently produced steelbook and independently produced Blu-ray. But you can still find it every now and then if you look around, and it's just a really fun movie, honestly. If you need a good laugh and you need to see something that'll take you out of whatever crappy situation you're in, that'll do the trick. This I'm going to put in with the Christmas movies. I'm going to do Christmas movies as a separate video. But okay, I'll talk about it right here. I'll just show it. It's a Wonderful Life! One of my favorite Christmas movies. One of the classic Christmas movies. Got it for Christmas one year, and I still watch it every Christmas. Not the colorized version, though. Because fuck that. Anyways, that'll do it for my I section. Which means, let's see, I did H-I-J. J is next, and then K. And then L. Alright, well. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Peace.